just for all the Facebook Live and Instagram people, I just want people to know that obviously there is an Amber Alert. Well, it's not an Amber Alert. The alert for the COVID-19 travelers returning home to self-quarantine for 2 weeks went off at 2 p.m. today, the exact time of our interview. The mayor's assistant calls us 1:45 and says, you know what, we got to postpone the interview. So, look, I got to say, unfortunately here in the city of Vaughan, it's BS, business as usual in politics here in Vaughan. And at the end of the day, if they don't want to give me an interview next week, I'm fine with that too, because this is absolute nonsense when we've got hundreds of business people waiting for answers from the mayor at the last minute. In Italian, we say hanno fatto la scoperta dell'America, which basically means they send out this alert saying travelers quarantine for 2 weeks. The whole world knows that you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. It's great that you send out this Amber Alert at 2 p.m., but I don't think the mayor needs to be in his bunker because bombs are dropping down on our heads to hide because an Amber Alert's coming out. So I got to call BS when I got to call BS. They're not going to like me for doing that. I really couldn't care less. At the end of the day, I'm here in an 80,000 square foot facility. I got rent to pay on April the 1st. Nobody's reached out to me. They don't want to talk to us. They cancel an interview at the last minute. It is BS politics as usual. And beyond that, there are serious issues. We've got people in the city of Vaughan here who now are reporting the COVID-19 is being spread in grocery stores. I won't mention which grocery stores, but it's all over the internet. We've also got people stuck overseas. They're sending only a few repatriation flights over to places like Peru, where I've got a very good friend of mine, someone who sits on the executive of Vaughan Soccer Club, Mr. Pat DeRauzio, who also owns the Arcade Academy of Music franchise. He is stuck in Peru, and he has been trying to get out. He has medical issues. He's been SOSing the Canadian embassy in Peru, and he's not been able to get anywhere. I have contacted Mr. Cervera, our MP himself. I've contacted other politicians, and to no avail. And all they do is give us the runaround and tell us that, hey, you know what? We'll postpone interviews for next week. We'll answer your questions at another time. Where is this mayor? Where is this mayor? And I know that he's in his bunker, his operations bunker at Melville and Rutherford. But listen, Mr. Mayor, it's not World War II. Bombs are not dropping on our heads. I didn't say we had to do the interview live. I said, let's do a Skype interview. You agreed to it 15 minutes before your assistant Aaron calls us up and says, hey, you know what? We got to postpone until next week. That is such BS, totally unfair. I do not believe that this stuff continues to happen in the city of Vaughan. The only messaging he's putting out is on Tele Latino, on Chin Radio. He keeps constantly feeding into his base, which is senior citizens of Italian descent, which I'm okay with because my parents are in that age bracket, in that demographic. But how about reaching out to young people? How about making a difference telling young people, don't go play soccer in parking lots, which I'm seeing young people do? How about telling young people, make sure you don't go visit your grandparents because you could spread COVID-19. Could be dormant in you, but it could have a serious effect on someone with a compromised immune system. I have heard nothing. No live camera action of the mayor or any of these politicians. Missing in action, completely disgraceful. I want everybody to know it. When the next election comes, and believe me, I'm not interested in politics. I've got too many jobs as it is. But let me tell you something. The next election, people, you better wake up because you're a citizen of Vaughan. You're on your own. My good friend, like I said, is stuck in Peru. It's been 2 weeks. He was there to meet his son's fiance's family, stuck there, zero communication. There's martial law in Peru. The flights are completely stopped right now. The last flight is going out today. He's got a medical emergency, couldn't get on the flight. Nobody there to talk to him. What is going on? Are we Canadians? Is this a first world country? Has the government completely abandoned us? Have they abandoned small business? I think so. There's thousands of small businesses that need to pay rent, and you're telling everyone who's a residential renter, don't worry, you don't have to pay rent. Talk to your landlord. They're going to be very sympathetic. Yes, I agree. But how about the businesses? If this economy stops, the world stops. Let me tell you, you can do whatever you like to try and stop COVID-19, which I think you should, but they got to start using different strategies because you cannot shut down the world for months and months and months. There are antiviral medicines available right now that they give it to soldiers. It's proven they give it to them in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other missions, which they could start using on people to treat them, not cure them, but treat them. They've also found out other data and facts from China and other countries like don't take Advil. Do not take Advil if you're sick. If you've got a compromised immune system, do not go out. So we got to follow these recommendations. But I am extremely disappointed with our leadership and our politicians and the lack of leadership, especially here in the city of Vaughan. Shame on all these politicians. I don't see any of them. They're out of sight, out of mind. It is completely ridiculous. If you're a Canadian citizen and you're out of our country, you are on your own. You are on your own. The embassy's not coming for you. Nobody's coming for you. So let me tell you, people, if you think it's great because you're a Canadian citizen, we've got all these rights and privileges, good luck. Because if you're out of the country, they're not coming for you. I feel sorry for my friend in Peru and his family, and there's kids there stuck. What's going on? Half the planes are grounded at Pearson Airport. So let's start sending planes. Get your ambassadors on the horn with the ambassadors of Peru. Let's go on these repatriation missions and get these people out of there. You are printing money anyways. It doesn't matter what the cost is. But at the end of the day, Luca, like I said, I am extremely disappointed that the mayor's assistant, I don't know if it was him or his handlers. This is the problem with politics. These guys are handled by other people. And you know what? They give them bad advice, terrible advice. And that's why they're not in business. And that's why they live in their own fantasy realm world. It does not work in the real world. And when I make a commitment and I shake on it, I stick to my word. And if I say it's 2 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock. And that's one of the reasons why I've gotten ahead in life and so many small business people have. What are you going to do for small business people? I wanted to ask the mayor today, let's have a virtual town hall to discuss all of these topics and subjects like rent payment. And also, the banks are calling people and saying, listen, we really can't defer your mortgage payments. We're overwhelmed. We can't give you small business loans. We're overwhelmed. It is unbelievable what is going on out there and the lack of leadership. It's really sad. And let me tell you, if you are a strong individual, man, woman of age, and you can run for politics next election, put your name on the ballot because we need solid, good people. We don't need run-of-the-mill politicians who are afraid to leave their bunkers. Mr. Putin, the president of Russia, who at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not into politics because I run businesses. I'm an educator, a podcaster, a real estate investor. So politics is not my thing. But you know what? Mr. Putin put a hazmat suit on, and he went to visit people with COVID-19 in the hospital. You can look it up. You can go to Atom Knows Everything. Go on my story, and you'll see that. That's what leadership is. Leadership is not hiding in a bunker when bombs are not dropping on your head. So, listen, they're not going to want to talk to me after this, so I might as well just speak my mind. Like I said, I am very upset with all levels of government. And the only thing that I ask of you, and you don't need to speak to me, is reach out to all the small business owners and the families that are hurting. Because the hurt is going to be even greater if this lasts for 2 or 3 months. The hurt is going to hurt men, women, children, families, the elderly, our healthcare system, etc. We need to hear from you. I'm asking you to have a virtual town hall. You don't need to speak to me. Set it up with whoever you want if you think I'm threatening. At the end of the day, you talk to whoever you like, but give small business in Vaughan some answers. In China, they built a hospital in 8 days. We can't get our hospital built after 8 years. Please, construction is considered essential service. Finish that hospital so you can help people. People are getting sick in Vaughan. What are we doing for the people who have COVID-19 in Vaughan? What's the plan? I don't know what the plan is because no one's messaging us on social media or anywhere else for that matter, Luca. And all I ask for the mayor is, not for me, go get those people out of Peru. You know who they are. They're community members who work extremely hard for children and families of this community. Like I said, my friend, Mr. Pat Durazio, executive on Vaughan Soccer and also owner of KA Academy of Music, been in this community for decades. He needs help. What are you doing to help him? I want some specific answers. Are you communicating with the other levels of government? You were an MP for years. You ran for the leadership of the Liberal Party. You can do something. Make it happen. And for the small business owners, you can't tell us to go get a loan at 5%. It is not enough. And they are not giving out loans because the banks and lenders are overwhelmed. So please, let's get some direction. Let's get some leadership. You got to step up to the plate. Leaders lead from the front and eat last. So we need you to do that. You can't be in your comfy bunker all safe while everyone else is out there. Half the population is working. Everybody's an essential worker. A dry cleaner is an essential worker. How are we going to stop this thing? You're not going to flatten the curve if half the population is out there still working. So it's nonsense. Obviously, they don't want to meet with me. That's the bottom line. And I'm okay with that. They can meet with you as long as they give us the answers and they go get the Canadians who are overseas and stuck overseas. Because if I were there and I were a sick Canadian, I'd want my country to come and get me, especially citizens of Vaughan. Where is our voice in Vaughan? Why are they not reaching out to these people? This is really a tragedy, a democratic tragedy. We're a democratic country, and we are acting very poorly and lacking leadership in an immense kind of way. I am so disappointed. And our poor business owners who are DMing me all day, I've got literally hundreds, are asking for the mayor's guidance. Mayor, why can't you come on Skype and talk to the people? Have a virtual town hall if you don't want to be in a room with people. We've got the technology. We've got Zoom. We've got Skype. We've got whatever you want. You can have that meeting with the business owners of the city of Vaughan. So I don't think they're going to meet with me, Luca, but I just want them to help out the people of the city of Vaughan. And listen, if it doesn't happen, young people, wake up, because the government's not going to protect you. You think this doesn't affect you? It will 5, 10 years down the line. We're seeing John Tory every day. We're even seeing Mr. Ford out there calling out businesses for gouging people, for telling people, hey, you know what? Do not overprice your items in this time of need. We're seeing him do that. I want to hear you come out and say something, but I want to see you. I don't want to see a screenshot of Mr. Bevilacqua. I want to see you say something. And for your assistant, big PR mistake. You think you know communications? You're wrong. This is a mistake. You should come out and talk to the people. Get in front of it. Get in front of it. Rethink your decision to cancel today. And don't blame it on the Amber Alert that came out telling travelers to quarantine for 2 weeks, because the whole world knew that 2 weeks ago. And doing it at 2 p.m. Listen, at the end of the day, you knew your government, you knew that was going to come out. If you knew that warning was coming out at 2 o'clock, why didn't we schedule the interview for 3? Those are the questions that I want to answer from Mr. Bevilacqua and his team. Listen, smarten up, people. If you think the government cares about you, you got another thing coming. At the end of the day, it's dog-eat-dog. It seems like it's every man or woman for themselves. Nobody really cares. April 1st is approaching. All of these business owners have to pay rent. I got DMs today saying that their landlords are saying, I'm sorry, we got mortgages. We can't defer your rent. You've got to pay your rent. There's no legislation that protects these business owners. There's no legislation that came out provincially or federally. But if anyone has influence, mayors of big cities like the city of Vaughan definitely do. There's over 300,000 people in this city. That mayor has influence. And you know what? He was an MP at Parliament for years, for over a decade, and actually ran for the leadership. Start putting pressure on other levels of government. It's the only way we're going to get anything done. And listen, not being out there and getting your message out in front of everything doesn't help. At the end of the day, the next generation of voters are you, the social media people. This is the next generation that's empowered. And if you're not in front of those people, you can talk on Tele Latino till you're blue in the face, and you can talk to the Nonya and Chin till you're blue in the face, but you've got to target the millennials, the Gen Zs, the under 60 people are the next electorate. You got to also message them. I want to give one final challenge. I know the mayor and his assistant won't want to talk to me, but put something out on Instagram, Facebook, or social media saying you're going to help in the repatriation of my friend and all those kids stuck in Peru, and also for all the small business owners who have rent due and have had to lay off people April 1st. This is a complete travesty. Get some messaging out there. Do me a favor, not for me, do it for them, because at the end of the day, you know what? It seems like it's dog-eat-dog, every man for himself. But I'm going to keep advocating for small business and citizens of Vaughan, and I want nothing to do with politics. Don't think I'm running for mayor. I got no interest, because I've got other careers in place. But I want you to help the citizens of Vaughan. And if you can't come out and say that, the leadership quality is extremely disappointing, like I said, and next election, people are going to pay the price.